by standing up. We're going to just add a little tap with the toes, pulling the knees forward. Just a little pull the knees forward, getting on the big toe. And now we're going to reverse this, pulling the heel forward. Just a little heel moving forward. And now let's take it out to the side with a little toe tap, but take it to the side. So extending right through the top of the leg all the way down. And make sure that you're pushing the toe down so that we're getting a little bit of a flex and stretch across our ankle. And now this is going to turn again into a heel stomp, except this time we're externally rotating through the hips. And a little heel stomp, little tap. You can do anything you want with the arms here. Don't be afraid to give it a little shake, a little roll. And 4, 3, 2, and lean and tap. Add a little dip through the knees if you want that extra challenge. Otherwise, you can just lean and tap. We're just waking everything up, and we're focusing from the bottom, going our way all the way to the top. This little lean and tap. And 5, 4, 3, 2. Now just for fun, a little kick your bum. I did not mean to make that rhyme, but it kind of rhymed. So just kicking your own bum. Don't pull the knees forward, just kicking straight back. I gotta be mindful not to kick the bench behind me. And 4, 3, 2. Now keep the right foot down, lift up the left leg, flex and point the toes, flex and point the toes. Focusing a little bit on core so that you don't fall all the way over. And now just little toe circles, meaning we're rotating our ankles, but it's the toe that leads. And 4, 3, 2. Now add a little step and across. Bring it across. We're moving our muscle group up the leg, but we're still working with our feet and ankles. Bring it across and side. Add any sort of funky, silly, cheesy, dorky arms. 4, 3, 2, 1, and step to the left. Right leg comes up. Flex and point the toes. Flex and point, flex and point, flex and point. We can do these all day, kind of, maybe, not really. Circle the toes, circle the ankle, circle the toes. Sometimes when one body part leads, the rest just follows, and sometimes they're just not cooperating. And 3, 2, now let it drop to step and bring it across, step and across. I'm just adjusting on my mat, just a little step and bring it across. Notice where this is getting a bit of a stretch through the hips and where it's not. Don't judge it, just flow with it. 4, 3, 2, let's bring it all the way in, heels in, toes out, and just a little funky chicken nut type walk, just a little bonk, bonk, bonk. And you can obviously make those noises if you want, but right now it's just this little waddle. 4, 3, 2. Now heels stay down. Press into the balls of your feet. Lift up the heels. Calf raises, heel raises. Don't matter what name you give it. It's the same movement. Now, instead of focusing on calves getting warm, can you think about squeezing the glutes, the bum cheek, yes? Exhale, squeezing up and down. 5, 4, 3, 2. And then heels down, toes forward, and we're just going to heel march so I can also fix my pants. But just a little heel march, up and down, up and down. Now let this move into the hips. Let the hips move side to side, a little bit wider. And 5, 4, 3, 2. Watch out for balance things. So anytime we start falling over, check in with the core, make sure the core catches you. We are going to work our way through the knees and hips. So let's start with the knees. Give me some wobbles. Just plain old wobbles. And you can do this on your heels or take the heels off the ground. This is going to make it a bit more challenging. Even just taking the heels off the ground an inch or two makes your work balance a little more. Now can we take it for a funky chicken walk? Forward and back. 5, 4, 3, 2. Now heel it across. Don't kick your actual kneecap. Just bring it forward and up and across. Now make it a little bit bigger. Reach down. Tap with the opposite hand if you can reach. If not, just keep the kick up. And 5, 4, 3, 2. How about we kick behind? Now you can just step it, take it higher, take it big, and slap your hand. Opposite hand, of course. And this has the benefit of getting into our obliques a little bit. And 5, 4, 3, 2. Bring the legs in, feet really close together, but they don't have to touch. Give your knees a little wobble, left to right, a left to right. Let those knees do all the work. Going left to right, funky, fun little wobble. And now get those knees looping in a circle, circling in and around, in and around. And reverse, go the other way. 4, 3, 2, and then just shake out from the knees. Just a few shakes. It also is a good time to fix your pants, maybe. So the knees don't get a lot of love, so we're going to try and give them a little bit of love by just taking the knees up and around because we're working up through the hips now. Reaching it up and around. Now the next move that we're going to do is going to focus on hips and waist, and if we want to make it more challenging, we can grab our hand weights, but don't feel like you have to. The hands aren't really going to do anything. They're just adding a little bit of resistance. We are going to lock and load the hips and wiggle. Wiggle the hips, wiggle the hips. Just making sure you can actually see what my feet are doing. So straight arms, wiggle the hips. So I like to call this the lock and load wiggle twist. And if you just had a big meal, this is probably not going to feel that great. Now let this turn out with the right leg only, just the right leg. Let it wobble in and out like a twist. Focusing on the obliques, on the waist. And then shift your weight over to the left and just let the left leg go. And now have some fun, take turns going left to right, add some layers going up and down. I love disguising joint mobility work as dancing. Just nice wiggle hip twists. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and back into those hips. Right leg down. Bring the hands in front if you've got weights. Left leg, just a little straight legs, lateral raise. You don't have to grip the weights. You can even drop them. Now take it up higher. Without tilting the body. Stay nice and tall, focusing on the hip. Use the exhales. Whoop. Trying not to fall over myself. And 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, option 1, don't use the arms. Option 2, use the arms. Reach up, elbow to knees, hands to knees. And you're only tapping the foot down. If you want, you can make this small. You can make it a step, but see if you can get that knee up higher than the hips. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now before we switch sides, give me a lock and load twist, lock and load twist. Lock and load, jiggle, wiggle, everything you've got, because it's so much fun to wiggle. Make silly noises with your face sometimes. It's actually really good for your stress, as in relieving stress. Left leg down, right leg. You just hold the weights up, and you can just take it low in a tap. If this is still too challenging, remember, work with your body. It can be a step, it can be a tap. Now let's take it up a little higher, kick it up. As high as you can while staying stable and steady. Using your breath, using those exhales to really hone in on your core, on those abdominal muscles to keep you stable. Speaking of stable. And 4, 3, 2, are we ready for the reach? Take the arms up or keep them low and just move the leg. If you're using the arms, pull it in and just add a little toe tap at the bottom. Using exhales to help pull that knee up. Let those abs help, because the legs are kind of heavy, right? Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, bring it in. Guess what? Lock and load again. We're gonna do lots of lock and loads today for these wiggle twists. Straight arms, it's not bending the elbows. Lock, 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 twist, twist, twist. 4, 3, 2, and then take the palms up, with or without the weights. Hug those elbows in, and we're gonna squeeze out to the side. So I want this squeeze to add a little chest lift at the top. Not a booty bump, that's called twerking. Chest nice and tall. But if Elvis makes you want to twerk, go for it. Keep those elbows tucked in. And make sure that if this is bothering, any sort of things in the elbows, lose the weights. Just keep the arms moving. 5, 4, 3, 2. Now let's go back into the waist. Palms down, feet together, just underneath the hips. Inhale, exhale up. So this side bend, make sure the hips stay put. So sometimes I see people doing this thing with the hips. No. Just from the obliques. Let the bottom rib do the moving. Inhale, exhale. Now also don't hike up the opposite shoulder. Let those arms relax. If you're using the weights, just don't relax your hands enough that you drop the weights on your toes. Inhale, exhale it up. 3, 2, and last one. Now this is where it gets funky, with or without the weights. So I want you to take the hands out a little to the side, and I want the elbows out, not tucked in, so out to the side. And we're going to just start with this weird little, just like a seesaw with the arms. And then let the ribs slide, let those hips move. So when my right hand comes down, my right hip goes with it. And we can take it really big. Just don't pull the shoulders up to your ears. Keep the shoulders down. Nice, fun little light walk. This is going to work a lot of different muscle groups. And hopefully the fun muscle. Because it's like, oh yeah, this is okay. My shoulders are warm. I'm not sure about yours. 5, 4, 3, 2. Now palms up, elbows in, and then push out to shoulder height back in. Inhale, exhale it up. Nice and steady. If the weights are too much, drop the weights. This is about really claiming your sovereignty over your own body. 4. And still challenging yourself. 2. I missed a number somewhere, didn't I? 8? No, 1. Last one, stay up. Palms up and back. Now this is really challenging with weights. We're keeping our wrists at shoulder height, going in and out, palms up and back. Oh, these 2-pound weights are feeling like 10 pounds right now. Jesus. And 5, 4, 3, 2. Don't drop those weights yet. Stay with me. Forward and back. if you don't have weights or you don't have these softer balls where you can bash them, just pause. Each time, pause. If you've got balls, don't be afraid to give them a good bash if that feels right for you. And 5, 4, 3, almost there. Bring it down. Simple bicep curls. And I say simple because that's all we're doing. And you don't even have to have weights in your hands to do this. Now we're going to shift from bicep curls to our fun maraca shakes. Elbows back, forward. And think about shaking whatever's in your hand, even if your hand's empty. And then see if you can speed it up. Really speed it up, front and back, front and back. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax, shoulders up and around and back. Focusing on the shoulders, up and around and back. We're not letting go of our weights quite yet. 2 more. Last one. Now circle the arms all the way up to the sky. Exhale, bring them all the way down. Just a sagittal arm mark here, just going up and around. Using your breath. And let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, if you have space in one hand for both balls, if you've got balls, just any type of weight, we just need it in one hand. Option 1, feet together, left hand to your head. Inhale, exhale it up. Just a little side bend. Now, if you want more, bend that right knee, lift up the right heel. Don't step it in front or back, but have them in line, and then we lean. Now, when we lean, make sure you're not moving with your hip. Inhale, exhale it up. So each time we exhale, we're pulling our whole torso back up. You want more challenge? Step even wider. Leaning in, pushing back. All we're doing is going side to side, like we're stuck between 2 panes of glass. If mobility or range of motion is an issue, you can make this smaller. Really work with what's happening in your body tonight, today. 3, 2, and 1. Release. Before we switch sides, we're going to take our weights back, both hands. Just a little lean forward. Not full on bend, just a little lean forward. And we're going to pulse. Tricep press, pulse. Tricep press it back. Of course, I like this song, so I'm starting to dance. You're welcome to dance if that's your jam. And 5, 4, 3, 2. Good news, we switch sides. Take it over into the left. Option 1, just side bend without moving your hips. Option 2, bend the left knee, lift up the left heel, and try to get into this lean without shifting the hips. So this is wrong. This is correct. Take it further out for more of a challenge so that you're leaning into this. This is actually great for strengthening your ankle as well. Inhale, exhale it up. Inhale, exhale it up. You can have your hand on your belly or up to the side of your head. Figure out what works well for you as long as you're not pulling up shoulders. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop the weights. We're going to switch to our loop band. Now, if you don't have a loop band, don't worry. You can still do all of the movements with us. And if you have a long band, you can always just tie a knot in it. So you can do all of these movements without a band if you don't have it, but we're just going to start with a step to the side. With or without a band, just keep following my movements. The band is just going to give you that resistance, and ideally, if you are using the band, you don't ever let it go slack. Just side to side. Now I'm staying through the center and just letting my legs move. But what does it look like if I add my whole body? Letting my whole body move left to right. I can go a little wider, feeling more in my glutes and my thighs. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now just a little step to the back. Stepping to the back. And it can be small steps. If you don't have a band and you want to get a little bit more oomph, you can just take these into more of a lunge-like step. Nice steady rhythm. This is going to build some fire in the buttocks and thighs. 5, 4, 3, 2, and now we're going to take the right foot, keep it down. It's only the left leg. Even without a band, you can do this. It's a step it in and out, but not all the way in. Keeping the legs straight. So that requires me to bend into my standing leg. Just nice little step, step, step. In and out, in and out. 5, 4, 3, 2, and before we switch, was it the long leg or the standing leg that hurt more? It's kind of a tie for me. Left leg down, right leg. And it's straight leg. Tap. Stepping it in and out. Don't forget your breath. You can speed it up or find that steady rhythm because we're almost done with this one, not the class. 5, 4, 3, 2, and let's bring it forward. Heel stomp, with or without the band. If at any point the band is just making you want to cuss me out, stick with it. It's worth it. Take it a little bit across. Let your elbow pull across to the opposite heel. You don't have to keep the elbows bent. You can reach the arms. Just let the arms move. Make it a little flowy, silly. You can add a little chicken dance wings, chicken wings. 5, 4, 3, 2, and now, with or without the band, if you've got the band, it's coming up around your knees. If you don't have a band, just follow me. If you're using a mat, start on one end, bend the knees. So now it's 4 steps. Let's see if I crash into the wall. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now stay in a low squat. And let's not even worry about a 4 count, but take equal steps and see if you can come a little lower each time like you're going down the stairs. Last one to the left. Ooh. Last one to the right. And my bum's on fire. Anyone else? No, just me? Okay. Band off to the side. We're going to make our way to the floor soon. But first, kick and shake the legs. If you had a band, I'm willing to bet your legs feel really light right now. Shake it out. Now let's step the feet a little wider than the hips. Doing a little bit of rib and spine work before we get to the floor. Just moving ribs, left to right. Left to right. Now get the arms out, little reach and tap. I think my floor is a little squeaky. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come in and make your way to the floor. I'm just going to mute someone. Oh, my beloved Rose, I love you, but I'm going to mute you. Actually, yeah, you know what? We're going to come to the floor. And if you're using a mat, come to the very end, not against the wall where you're taking a nap, but we're going to walk on the bum. Literally walk on the bum. Lift up those hips. Now, if you don't lift up high enough, you're going to give yourself a wedgie going forward. But you know it's even worse when you go back? If you don't lift up, you pull your pants down. So make sure you lift up the bum. Woo. Oh yeah, mine's going. I'm holding on to my pants. 4, 3, 2, find your way somewhere in the middle. We're going to lean back, but not round. Nice and tall, lean back. Reach the fingertips, right fingertips back and left. And right, left. Reach, bring it forward and switch. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now come all the way down. Ooh, my spine just did a little crackle. Snap, crackle, pop. Fingertips up, wrists are shoulder width apart. Push those shoulder blades into the ground. Push the bottom ribs into the ground. So just by pushing the ribs down, you're going to create a little bit of a tilt through your pelvis and your hip bowl. Keep that formation with the ribs and the hips coming a little closer. Take the arms up and over and back to the sky. Just reaching arms up and over. Now we could do this with weights, but we're adding a whole bunch of layers. This is your chance to check. Are you letting the ribs flare up and out? Or are you able to keep this hugging in tight? Kind of like a corset. Not sure we want to wear a corset doing a yoga class or a Pilates class or any type of class, but hey. Now, this is where we're going to add layers. Option 1, keeping your feet on the ground. When the right hand reaches, the left leg comes up. So this is option 1. Opposite hand, opposite leg. One goes down, one comes up. This is always going to keep you stable. Now, if you want more challenge, bring both legs up into table, and I'm going to shift my bum just a little bit. So, hands up, knees up. We look like an upside down table, or in Scotland, they call this like a dead bug pose or something like that, or one of them anyways. So, right arm up, left leg long. So this time, both reach. But if I'm arching my back, flaring my ribs, and I'm not keeping the shape, go back to option 1. Inhale, exhale. One at a time. You don't need to like flail and do this kind of crazy looking swimming thing. Keep control. And if you're finding that you're arching your back but you still want this variation, tap the toe down, keeping the knee at 90 degrees. Let's go for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release the heels only to the ground, close to the bum. Fingertips stay up. Push into the heels, lift up the hips. So we're in a low bridge. I'm just pulling my shirt so you can see I'm not that far off the floor. We're definitely not arching into the back. Now with the fingertips up, get those shoulder blades into the ground. We're going to do slightly, just 2 to 3 inches hip thrust. Drop the hips, lift the hips. Drop, lift. Up and down. Pushing through just the heels only. 5, 4, 3, 2, stay at the top. Now tap toes, tap feet, but take turns. Right, left, right, left, right, left. Now, if you're doing this, make sure you're not tilting the hips all wonky. If you want to bring your hands down onto your hips so that you can check that you're staying stable, really focus on the glutes and the hamstrings. Tap left and right, left and right. Bump, bump. 5, 4, 3, 2, and slowly come down 1 vertebrae at a time. Ooh, feel it in my bum cheeks. Bring those knees into your chest. Give yourself a little bit of a hug. We're going to use this to come onto our side. So join me all the way on your right side if you can. And we're gonna start off with knees bent, knees slightly lower than the hips, but knees at 90 degrees. And if this bothers your head alignment, bothers elbows, you can always just lay it down. So there's that option. We're gonna keep the big toes touching, open knee, close, open, close. This is classical clamshell from Pilates. We're gonna add layers if you choose. Honor each layer that your body says, you know what? I got this. Okay, it's hard, but I got this. 4, 3, 2. Now this is where we add the layer. You can come onto your forearm, push the floor away. Don't relax the hips down. I mean, this is like a teenager slouching, huh? And pull the ribs up. So you can stay here. So you're actually pulling up through the obliques. Option 3 is push onto the forearm, lift the hips, and squeezing up and down, up and down. Or bring the hips back down, or come all the way back down. Choose one of the 3 options and stay with me just a little longer. And 5, 4, 3, 2. Now, wherever you are, option 1, 2, or 3, join me all the way back down for option 1. Pull that top knee, your left knee, up towards your armpits. Just for a moment, give yourself a stretch. It's not a very flattering look, so don't worry, it's all good. But hug it in. So from here, bottom leg is at 90 degrees for stability. Don't bring the heel to your bum, have it out in line with your knee instead. We're gonna take that left leg up and point it as high as you can. Don't worry about grabbing, but point. And then flex the heel, bring it straight down. Release the toes, slide the toes up kind of sexy like, and up to the sky. Flex the heel down. This is actually the développé, but I once taught in a place in Canada where someone's hip kept clicking, so we called it the click and drag. Click and drag. Clicked on the way down, dragged on the way up. So 2 more. Last one. Bring it down. Now on the way down, we're going to take that same leg and use it to turn inward. So point the toes to the ground. It's this internal rotation. So your heel is to the sky. Heel the sky. Really just kick down the door. Noticing your stability. Notice I'm not even using my hand to balance myself. I'm making my core do all the work. Encouraging you to do the same, or at least explore with the same. And 5, 4, 3, 2. Pull that knee all the way in. Give yourself a hug. Now kick it back. Pull the knee in and kick. Pull in and kick. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now with that leg out, you can just kind of come up into seated. Before we switch sides, let's sit up nice and tall, focusing a little bit on the spine here. Hands in front of your chest, elbows out, slightly lower than the shoulders. Just a little twist. Just a little twist. If you're feeling tender from being down on your elbow, you can give your arm a shake, because I am. And 4, 3, 2. Now before we get to the other side, legs out, not for doing the splits, but for classical saw. And this is where you can use the weights again if you'd like, but it's not mandatory. Classical saw just means wrists are out to shoulder height. We're going to take the right arm to the left toes while the left arm rotates in and under. So we reach, pull back. Now the trick here is not to do what we were taught in high school, where you just lean and kind of always come tall. Think about the spine unraveling to come down and raveling back up. Inhale, exhale across. Let's go for 1 more each side. Last one. And we're going to release, and we're going to come onto our left side. So, fixing my pants. By the way, if you ever need to fix your pants, please go for it. Don't feel obligated to continue movement if your pants are all wrong, or if you got a wedgie. Nothing worse than having a wedgie, right? Okay, so big toes together, knee open and close. This is your option one. In fact, even letting your head rest can be even nicer. Focusing on activating this external push through the hips and the glutes. Option two is on your forearm, but you're not dipping the ribs, you're pulling the ribs up. Option three is making sure that your shoulder is over the elbow. We're pushing the hips off the ground, squeezing up and down. I'm not using my other hand because this is going to tilt my rotation. I want to keep my ribs stacked like I'm stuck between two panes of glass. 5, 4, 3, 2, and wherever you are, meet me at the bottom. Because we're going to take the top leg nice and long, and we're going to actually we're going to hug it in, and then we take it long. That's right. Hug it in. Our flex and point, we're going to take the toes up. Ooh, this is my tighter side. Oh. And flex, release straight leg down. Drag pointed toes, reaching up the développé, and bring it down. Drag it up and down. Draw it up and flex it down. I'm noticing I had a Charlie horse in my quad the other day and it's still getting to me. So honoring that, I'm going to not kick as high. So I can continue the movement and just slightly modify it to make sure I don't trigger another Charlie horse, because then I'm useless, right? 2 more. And last one, bring it in, hug it, drop that knee forward, and we're gonna kick it back, bring it in, kick back, and then we're gonna do the internal rotation. Draw in, kick back. Keeping it nice and steady, keep those ribs hugging in for stability. 3, 2, and 1. Take that leg out, internally rotate the toes, point the heel up. Now just don't let this make you fall onto your chest. Stay to the side, focus on the thigh, really pushing into that glute. Heel up, heel up, heel up. Bum, ba-dum, bum, ba, bum. I'm just making noises to distract myself because my butt cheek's on fire. 4, 3, 2, and from here we're actually going to come onto our belly. So stay nice and low on your belly. First, just rock yourself side to side, because you know, it's fun. Unless you have to pee, then this is not fun. So from here, we're going to lift up our chest, but we're going to use our hands to support. And we're not using our bum cheeks, okay? Hands stay underneath your chin. Exhale, lift up, focusing on pulling the shoulder blades up and back. This is not about the bum, so if I demonstrate wrong, I'm not lifting up, I'm not squeezing through the glutes. I can totally go higher if I do that, but that's not the purpose. Just little pulse. 3, 2, and 1. Pull those elbows back, hands underneath your shoulders. This is just to push up and over into a child's pose. Or a shell stretch in yoga. Get those knees nice and wide to drop your belly in between your chest, your heart. Woo, wiggle side to side, if you like. If you don't like wiggling, you're probably in the wrong class. And let this sway come up. We're only coming into a brief table, just basically enough to bring our legs through and coming into a bit of a seated position. We're going to work by not eating our hair. Feet together, knees wide. And let them wiggle. Really let them wiggle. We don't give ourselves enough permission to wiggle, at least as adults. I still remember being a kid and my dad saying, "Stop wiggling at the dining room table." So I stopped wiggling. But kids are usually happier when they wiggle, so. I'm gonna get distracted if I keep talking about wiggling. We're gonna take our legs out to the side. And, another wiggle here. But this time, let your hands help. Let your hands guide the wiggle. So that we're loosening up through the hip joints, but then add a little sway and dance. And start to reach towards the direction of your toes. This is gonna stretch hamstrings, but we're also creating a bit of length across the opposite rib. And if you want more stretch, let both hands reach towards the same toes. Bring it in and switch. And take your time. You don't have to touch your toes, just reach in that direction. And now meet me somewhere in the middle. Don't have your hands on your kneecaps, either on your shins or your thighs. And nice, tall, strong spine, lean your chest forward. This is not about can you touch the ground. I want your spine straight. So you're thinking more about tilting forward from your pelvis and your hips. I'll show side view for a second here. And this is not about going down. This is leaning forward with a flat back. Courageous heart, leaning forward. And I know each of you has a courageous heart without knowing anything because you simply showed up to this class. That takes courage. Because you're showing up for yourself and only a little bit for me, but it's all about you. And my dumb jokes. And let's slowly come all the way up. We're going to do a couple of mobility things and then we're going to come onto our back. Both knees to the right, keeping the heels down. I love this one, the shin box. Give it a little rock in and out. Kind of really lubricating into the hip joint and my eyeball. And we switch to the left, but we don't let those heels move, so nothing changes except the direction of the knees. Now this is my car accident hip, so it's going to take me a little longer to groove into this hip joint. Ooh. And 3, 2, and bring it through center. Grab a hold of your big toes. Now I have to change direction. Please don't do this if there's something behind you. We're going to grab our big toes, walk the heels in a little bit closer, lift up the heels. And then we do little funky kicks. And the reason I wanted nothing behind you is because we're going to use this to roll onto our back into happy baby pose. Press those knees down and back, shoulder blades drawing down and back. And I love to rock. I love to rock side to side. It feels so good on my back. So with my hips down, heels up, feet nice and flat, pulling my shoulder blades down, I'm getting the deepest of stretches. Bring those feet together, keep the knees wide. So it's kind of like a cobbler's pose, slightly modified. Then let go of the feet flat, knees bent, and let's go for some, bring the heel up close to your bum, and then windshield wiper. You're gonna get a deeper stretch on your quad. Remind me to tie my hair back next time. I keep inhaling my own hair. So with the heels close to your bum, you're really getting a deeper quad stretch every time the knee comes down when you windshield wiper. Let's bring those knees up, rock a little forward and back till we come into seated. And that would be us done. Fusion flow.